There's this one simple phrase that can totally change how you go after your goals. It's done is better than perfect. So let's really dig into what that means and how it can, completely unlock your progress.
So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? You've got this awesome goal, maybe a big project you're excited about, but you're just stuck. You find yourself holding back, trying to plan out every single step perfectly before you even take the first one. Or maybe it's this. You're telling yourself, I just need to learn a little bit more, right? Just one more online course, one more book, and then I'll be ready to start.
And then, of course, there's the biggest trap of all, waiting for that perfect moment. The one, that magical time when the stars align, your calendar's magically clear, and everything is just perfect. Well, here's the thing. That perfection you're waiting for, it's basically an illusion. It's a finish line that keeps moving. And if you decide you can't start until you reach it, well, you might just find yourself stuck at the starting line forever. Okay, so what is really going on here? What's really driving this need for perfection? Let's kind of pull back the curtain for a second and see what's actually holding you back. We like to think of perfectionism as a good thing, right? We call it high standards or discipline, but if we're being honest, a lot of the time it's just fear wearing a mask. It's the fear of what other people will think, the fear of failing, or, the fear of just not being good enough. And here's the brutal truth about that delay, about that fear. While you're over there polishing and planning and just waiting, the clock is ticking. It doesn't stop for anyone. And time? That's the one thing you can never, ever get back. Because think about it. Out there in the real world, while you're waiting for everything to be perfect, somebody else just starts. They take that first messy step, and then they practice, and they get a little bit better. And pretty soon, they're way ahead. Not because they were smarter or more talented, but just because they had the guts to start. All right, so if waiting for perfect is the big problem, then what's the solution? It all comes down to really understanding how we actually build skills. And trust me, it's probably not how you think it happens. It's actually super simple. Action. Action is the only real teacher there is. I'm not talking about endless planning or just thinking about success. I'm talking about the actual physical act of doing the thing. That's the real engine of improvement. Just think about an athlete, for example. They don't get great by just reading playbooks or watching games from the sidelines, right? No way. They get out on the court or the field, and they take this same shot again and again and again, literally thousands of times. And it's the exact same thing for a musician. You don't master a guitar by just studying music theory. You have to sit down and physically play the same scales, the same chords over and over and over until it's just burned into your muscle memory. Or hey, take a programmer. They don't become an expert just by reading a bunch of manuals. They get in there, they write the code, they watch it break, and then they have to figure out why and fix it. That whole cycle, doing, breaking, fixing, that's where the magic happens. That's real learning. So you see the pattern here, right? It's totally undeniable. It doesn't matter if you're talking about sports or art or technology. People get better by doing. Action really is the secret sauce to getting good at anything. Okay, so we've established that action is the key. But what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it's all about embracing the incredible power of just getting something done. This right here, this is the real loop of improvement. First, you practice, you do the thing, and that's going to lead to mistakes. It's just inevitable. But here's the key. Those mistakes, they're not failures. They're just feedback. They're data. That data leads to learning, and that learning leads to real improvement. Then what do? You repeat the whole thing. And notice what's not in that loop? Yeah, perfection. One of the biggest mental hurdles we put in front of ourselves is this idea that we need the perfect setup to begin. The best laptop, the best software, the best whatever. But that's just not how it works. Real progress almost always starts out messy. It starts with the kind of crappy tools you have right now and the skills you have today. I mean, when you boil it all down, it comes to this. You simply can't get good at something you never actually do. It's impossible. You can think about it all day, you can plan it out, you can dream about it, but until you actually get your hands dirty, you're not even on the road. All right, so we've talked about the problem, perfectionism, and we've talked about the solution, action. So now let's make this about you.
how do you take this whole idea and actually apply it, like starting right now?
Check this out. This is the amazing cycle that kicks in the second you choose done instead of perfect. First, just finishing something, anything, no matter how small, it creates momentum. That little bit of momentum makes it so much easier to do it again, which is repetition. And repetition, as we know, is what builds real skill. And then, over time, that skill starts to compound into what looks like mastery. And the amazing thing? It all starts with just getting that first little thing done.
So, look, if you only remember one thing from all of this, please let it be this. Progress isn't built on perfection. It has never been. It's built on action. It's built one messy, imperfect brick at a time.
And that really just leaves one last question for you. Forget about the grand, perfect plan for next year or even next month. Just think about right now. What is one thing, just one small, imperfect thing, that you are going to get done today?